Coach, as you get ready to coach your final regular season game with the Cavs, what makes you, I guess, most proud of this team so far this year?
Who that we endured, right? This grind, this 82 game grind. That in itself, we know you live it, right? It's it's not easy. It's one of the challenges of professional sports, and the NBA is being able to sustain and through the kind of ups and downs and to come out of it relatively healthy is an accomplishment. So that was, and that, remember we talked about in the beginning there, that was part of the goal, like going to the playoffs healthy. So we're healthy. I think you know just like where we are right now. I think we're in a good spot. Um, I like our chemistry, our leadership. Um, Now it's kind of I can't wait to, like, tomorrow, where we can really really start focusing in on our ultimate goal. Try to make that next jump. But I think we're in a good place right now.
Speaking of endured, I know it's been a point of discussion with Jarrett, but he's about to play in his 82nd game. I mean, he's endured
Yeah.
all 82. What does that say just about who he is?
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. Right, that's something you celebrate. I think we'll celebrate that tonight in the locker room. Like, it's so hard. Um, I mean, the guy is. Well, first of all, he's a phenomenal athlete, right? Let's get to, like, his whatever that composition, body composition. I always said in Brooklyn, that was the first thing that stood out when we drafted him, was this guy is like an elite athlete, an elite mover. You ever watch him pregame, how he stretches? He's like one of those guys that can put his foot behind his head. It's just amazing flexibility. So he's got that. And his professionalism, how he takes care of it. I'd say the third thing, this Serena, like his balance in life. Like, the guy's not like obsessed with basketball. Like, he's got other interests. I think that relieves kind of stress and anxiety. Elite competitor, but he's got real nice balance in his life. So probably helps keep him healthy. That's my
Chris. Hey, Kenny.
Chris.
You talked the other night about Darius and his post All-Star dip
Yeah.
with his efficiency.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened, and why wasn't there a level of concern as it was happening?
I just don't think guys bat 400 the whole year. Like, it's just not. It's the 82 game grind. I do think. I'm just putting myself in his shoes. He had such a. His goal. He was obsessed. Making the All-Star team, and obviously helping us win and get off. So when you have that kind of focus and that kind of that goal in mind, I think he was so focused on that. And I just think there's a natural, okay, post All Star. What's next, right? Like, what, is there another All Star team? Like, and maybe say, well, the greatest ones, they keep going. Like he's still 25. I think it's a natural, kind of mental, maybe a little dip, and then there's the physical part too, right? Like, guys, you look at the physical metrics for him, like he put a lot into that. It was almost like he got out to the race really really fast, which we wanted him to, and then there's just natural regression, right? It just, you're not going to shoot 48% from three the whole year. You're just not, right? Like, so you have that, and what I've been really thrilled with, I feel like it's almost like he's coming back. He's getting, understands. Okay, we got the playoffs coming. Yes, I'm gonna start elevating my game again. And I feel like he's had two of those games, recently where like this is kind of who he is.
With this season being a lot about Evan and expanding his game and taking him to a different level, curious, like, how have you seen him handle the new level of pressure, responsibility, all of that stuff that comes with that role change and that status?
Yeah, I don't see Evan get affected. Like, I see no no chinks in the armor. He's just kind of he's so steady, and it's his character, right? Like he's got great background, right? Comes from a great family. His dad's a coach. He's just got this solid base. Knows who he is. His humility, right? Right, all that. Sometimes with Evan, I think sometimes you got to turn him up a little, right? Like, that would be the one thing. Just man, remind him how good he is. That's kind of our goal for this little stretch here. Getting him mentally ready for the playoffs. He's got to turn it up now, and he does. He always feels the moment and all that, but sometimes he needs a reminder.
Is that the trick that you've learned to kind of get through to him, like remind him how great he is?
Yeah, it's not like yelling at, hey, play hard, or you're the man. Like, it's more like, do you realize how good you are? And we need you to do this, right? Like, we need you for us to take the next step, and that's been the message the whole year. But sometimes with Evan, I can just kind of forget it. He takes care of himself. But I did think that the other day, even against the Knicks, man, we got to get him. I said a post game, we got to get him turned up, to that kind of max level, and he's really good when he's got some time to work on his game too. Like he needs to get in the workshop a little bit. Like, he likes that, and when he does that, we'll have this stretch here with practice and our individual work where we can get him tuned like the Ferrari he is.
Jeff?
Hey, Kenny, you might have talked about this before, but my memories might be bad. 3 years with Steve Kerr, what influence did he have on your coaching?
Yeah, I mean, it prepares me for moments like what's coming up, right? I've been in, with him, I've been in serious playoff battles, and high pressure games. So I've, kind of seen how, he handles certain situations. It's not just in game. In game's probably a little part of it, strategy and all that, but it's how you handling when you're down 2-1 in a series, and against Boston in the finals. What does film look like? What's your messaging to the players? How much individual communication do you have? You're going into Sacramento and it's a game 7, and you're not favored. How do you go in, and what's your approach to those things? So I have that wealth of kind of experience. Now I got to be myself, and but it's so helpful. It gives me a lot more confidence going into these playoffs that I've seen it. I know what it looks like. I know what playoff prep looks like. I know what pressure looks like. And felt like I was the first assistant there, so I was really in the trenches and really helping them with those decisions. And now it's all kind of shifts to a higher level of responsibility, but tremendously valuable, my experience with him.
Thank you.
Okay.
You mentioned the work for the postseason getting started tomorrow, but I'm just kind of curious, what does that process look like, considering you won't know who the first round opponent is until like 48 hours before the series starts?
So behind it, I think there is an organization to it, a real organization, and it's multifaceted, right? It's first of all, kind of continue to emphasize our playoff intentions globally, right? Like, we have things we've been working on, things we think will translate to playoffs, whether it's you're playing Atlanta, Indiana, Boston, right? So you kind of double down on those. There's the practice planning. What does that look like, when you have 7 days in between? So that's getting with your performance team and sports science guys. What do the loads look like for each day? Timing of practice, all that. And then it's a little bit tricky with this one. We won't know till late. I think we will know early. It'll be between two teams. We had to get that set. And then it's roles and responsibilities for the staff. Who's doing what? right? Like what does that look like? Scout, who's doing the reviews, especially with this being first time with this new staff, we really had a big separate meeting, just playoff planning, just planning all of that out, and I probably missed 7 things. But there's a lot of planning goes into it, because once it starts, you're off, right? It's going to go quickly, so it's important to be super organized, and I feel good where we are, right now.
And then what kind of opportunity can today serve for some of the young guys that aren't typically?
Oh man, I love these games. I think it's a, it's a program builder. It's a program. It tests your program, right? These guys that are playing tonight, like they've been in our program. They played G League games. We've had, individual work, team, extra work sessions, extra work play games. So and for me, like, I get to know them a little better, right? Now I can actually see them in an NBA game, NBA referees, NBA crowd, and you learn. Even the other night against the Knicks, playing Jalen and CP, it's like, man, that's who we discussed mostly in our meeting today. Well, what's the feedback on that? What do you guys with CP? What about his off season? But where does he need to get better? Jalen, man, we loved his defense against the Knicks. His contests were great. Like, you're, and during the year you're just not having those discussions. So tonight we'll get more feedback, and we can start talking about our two ways and Luke Travers, and we'll have more information. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how we perform. Then maybe with the older guys, right, Tristan and Javante, it's like getting them minutes, because we're gonna need them in the playoffs, right? There's gonna be a stretch where you need Tristan for 6 minutes, or Javante, you need to throw him in there to get some defensive playmaking. So it's kind of all wrapped up in today's game, excuse me.
Hey Kenny, so when kind of off Danny's question about the play-in tournament and waiting to find out, so will you guys be watching like film of everybody who you could play, or are you gonna wait and find out?
We'll wait. So we have a coach assigned to each team. They've had that team all year, so they're looking at them, right? But they're not presenting it to me right now. I don't want to do 4 start. I think it's too much. So once we have it down to 2, we'll have a kind of split it up. We will get some early information, but we're not going to give that to a player, right? And then when we actually know, I think we'll be able to get. We have our template. We'll be able to get that real quick. All the information. We'll meet. Then we got to streamline it and get get the information of the player. I think one of the things is it going to be a 1 o'clock game or 7 or 9, right? Like, what is the timing? That's something we talked about today in our playoff prep meeting. That's going to change some things. How much information do we give them? Obviously, we play the later game. We'll have more time to maybe dive into personnel a little more. If we play the early game, maybe simplify our template.
And then it's been a week since Donovan sprained ankles, so how's he coming along, and do you think he'll be able to do all the practice with you guys this week?
I think he'll be full on with practice. He was on the court. Yesterday? Got a full workout in, so expect him. We're gonna have to scrimmage at some point, probably inter-squad and with refs, and so he'll participate in that, and but it's a good question. It's important, right? As I said, maybe the most important thing, how we build him up, with this, the ankle kind of rehab and then conditioning. It's a big one, so we're on it. And listen, one thing in Donovan we trust, right? In terms of work, prep, all that stuff. He'll be ready, but we got to help set up the scenarios that help him most.
Last one, Joe.
When do you think you'll get to practice?
Right off the bat.
Like tomorrow?
We're not practicing tomorrow.
But
the next day.
Yeah.
Next day. Next day he'll practice.
Okay.
And I think, just to be clear, I think that'll give you. I think that's going to be more individual practice work. So So.
Yeah, we've been talking for 10 minutes about what you guys are going to do this week, but just wanted to,
Yeah.
with 7 days between games.
Yeah. Yep.